The oldest being in the chamber had not moved in 300 years. High Counselor Mira of the Savathi Dominion floated in her life support pod, watching the younger species argue with the patience of someone who had seen empires rise and fall. But today, even she felt something she had not experienced in centuries: fear. Ambassador Rilith of the Quarian Collective stood at the center of the conclave chamber, his four arms trembling. Around him, representatives of 12 spacefaring species waited in silence. The ancient station Harmony's rest creaked around them, its metal bones older than most of their civilizations combined. "3 of our exploration vessels are gone," Rilith said. "Lost near an uncharted system on the galaxy's edge. Ships go missing," growled Admiral Gree of the Hegemony. His reptilian scales shifted colors with impatience. "Why does this concern the Conclave?" Rilith's voice dropped to barely a whisper. "Because of where they were lost. The system was quarantined by the precursors themselves. 2 million years ago, the chamber went silent. The precursors were legends, the ancient builders who had seeded life across the galaxy before vanishing into myth. Their warnings were not ignored. The quarantine buoys have degraded," Rilith continued, "turned to dust over the millennia. Our ships did not know they were entering forbidden space. But one probe managed a single transmission before going dark. He activated the holographic display, and the chamber filled with images of a blue-green world. Beautiful in its way, covered in liquid water, wrapped in white clouds, orbited by a single gray moon. The natives call it Earth." The footage shifted to show the planet's surface. Mountains that scraped the sky, oceans that could swallow entire Quarian colony worlds, lightning storms that would kill any species in the conclave on contact. And then the natives appeared. They walked on 2 legs like the Hegemony, but where the Hegemony evolved on a gentle world of warm swamps. These beings had forward-facing eyes. Predator eyes. Hunter eyes. "They live in a world of crushing gravity," Rilith said. "Their atmosphere contains a corrosive gas they call oxygen. They drink a universal solvent and call it water. Their planet experiences regular geological destruction. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, massive storms." The footage showed more. Humans running across open ground, not fleeing from danger, but for pleasure. Humans swimming in the liquid hydrogen hydroxide that would dissolve Quarian flesh. Humans keeping domesticated apex predators in their homes, sleeping beside creatures with fangs and claws. "Deathworlders," Mira whispered, and the words spread through the chamber like a disease. Every species knew the term. Every species feared it. Deathworlders were the nightmare at the edge of space, beings forged by hostile environments into something terrible. Most Deathworlder species destroyed themselves before achieving spaceflight. The ones that survived became conquerors. "It gets worse," Rilith said. "Our sensors detected organized electromagnetic signals. They have developed technology. They have achieved nuclear capability." Admiral Gree rose from his seat. "Then we implement Protocol Omega. Now, before they spread, they developed atomic weapons before they reached their own moon," another ambassador said. "They were willing to destroy themselves. What will they do to us?" The debate raged for hours. Some argued for immediate sterilization of the Earth system. Others counseled caution. A few suggested observation first. In the end, the conclave voted. Admiral Gree would lead a fleet of 50 warships to the Earth system. His orders were simple: observe the natives, assess the threat, and if necessary, implement Protocol Omega. Total sterilization. "What about our missing ships?" Rilith asked. Gree's scales shifted to a cold blue. "If the Deathworlders captured them, we will recover what remains. If they harmed our people, we will make them regret it." The conclave adjourned. Species that had not agreed on anything in centuries were united in their fear. The Deathworlders must be contained. The Deathworlders must be studied. And if necessary, the Deathworlders must be destroyed. None of them knew that one Quarian ship had not crashed. Its crew had not died in the impact. They had been found by the natives and taken to a place the humans called Nevada. Deep beneath the desert, a Quarian survivor named Celti huddled in a sterile room, waiting to die. She had seen the humans up close. She had felt their strength when they pulled her from the wreckage. She had seen their predator eyes and known that her species had made a terrible mistake. She waited for the torture to begin, for the experiments, for the violence that Deathworlders were known for. Instead, the door opened and a young human female entered. She was small by human standards, with dark hair and kind eyes. She carried something in her hands. "You must be scared," the human said softly. "I brought you water and a blanket. It's cold down here." Celti stared at the offerings, unable to understand. Where was the cruelty? Where was the predator's hunger? The human set the water and blanket down gently. "My name is Lena. I'm going to help you." Somewhere in deep space, 50 warships prepared to burn Earth to ash. And in a room beneath the desert, a Deathworlder offered a frightened alien a drink of water. The galaxy would never be the same. Celti's scream woke the entire facility. Guards rushed to her room, weapons drawn, expecting an attack. Instead, they found her pointing at the ceiling, her forearms shaking, her voice breaking as she tried to explain. "Missile, 16 missile. They will kill everyone. Everyone." Dr. Nathaniel Webb arrived within minutes. Celti explained what her implant had intercepted. The fleet had launched Protocol Omega without warning. Each missile carried enough antimatter to turn a continent into glass. "How long?" Nathaniel asked. 4 hours. Maybe less." Nathaniel did not panic. He did not weep. He picked up a phone and spoke 3 words. "Wake everyone up." What followed was the fastest mobilization in human history. Every nuclear power on Earth received the warning within 15 minutes. Every missile silo opened. Every submarine surfaced. Every aircraft carrying nuclear weapons launched into the sky. But they did not aim at each other. For the first time since humanity split the atom, every nuclear weapon on Earth had the same target. The 16 missiles falling toward their home. General Rosa Martinez coordinated the response from a bunker deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. She had spent her career preparing for nuclear war against other humans. Now, she commanded the entire species against a threat from the stars. "We have identified all 16 trajectories," her aide reported. "We can intercept 11 with high confidence. The other 5 are moving too fast. Then we fire everything at those 5. Every nation, every weapon, the sky filled with fire. Hundreds of nuclear missiles rose from every corner of the globe, racing toward the incoming extinction. 11 alien missiles vanished in nuclear fire. The humans cheered. Then the other 5 hit. The Sahara Desert became glass. The Pacific Ocean boiled. The Amazon forest burned. Siberia ceased to exist. The Himalayas crumbled. 300 million humans died in the first hour. Celti collapsed, certain that humanity would surrender now. No species could survive such devastation. She was wrong. Aboard the Eternal Vigilance, Admiral Gree watched with horror. He had not authorized this attack. Veth had acted alone. "Admiral," Milra reported, "we are detecting launches from the planet's surface." "More nuclear weapons?" "No, sir. Spacecraft. Every spacecraft they have is launching toward us." Gree did not understand. The humans had no fleet. Their primitive rockets could not threaten hegemony warships. Then he saw the trajectory calculations. The human ships were coming directly toward his fleet. "They are attacking," Veth said triumphantly. "They are proving they are mindless savages. They know they cannot win," Gree said quietly. "They are coming anyway." Every human vessel broadcast the same message. "Remember us. Remember what they did. Make them remember us." The first human ship reached weapons range. A converted cargo hauler carrying 27 volunteers who knew they would not survive. It aimed directly at the Eternal Vigilance. "Destroy it," Veth ordered. "No," Gree said. The cargo hauler came closer. The bridge crew braced for impact. At the last moment, the ship veered away. It exploded against the shields, close enough to rock the warship, but not close enough to destroy it. A final message arrived. "We could have killed you. We chose not to. Talk to us." The bridge fell silent. "They had a clear shot," Milra whispered. "They could have rammed us." Instead, they sacrificed themselves to make a point. "They want to negotiate," Gree realized. They are Deathworlders. Veth shouted. They cannot be trusted. They just lost 300 million people. They had every reason to kill us. And they chose mercy. Gree turned to his second-in-command. What have we chosen, Veth? What have you chosen? Guard seized Veth before he could respond. He would face tribunal for unauthorized genocide. But that was small comfort to the humans still counting their dead. Gree broadcast a message to Earth. This is Admiral Gree. The attack was unauthorized. The officer responsible will face justice. I am willing to communicate. On Earth, General Martinez received the message in her bunker. Around her, screens showed the devastation. Cities burning, oceans boiling, mountains falling. They want to talk, her aide said. After everything they did, Martinez looked at the screens for a long moment. Her husband had died in the Himalayan impact. Her daughter was missing in the Amazon fires. What do you want to do, General? Martinez closed her eyes. When she opened them, her voice was steady. We talk. We are angry. We are grieving. But we are not animals. We do not become monsters just because monsters attacked us. She broadcast her response. Admiral Gree, we accept your communication. But know this, we will never forget. And we will never forgive easily. You want to know what humans are? Now you know. We are the ones who kept fighting when all was lost. And we are the ones who chose to talk instead of destroy. In her room beneath Nevada, Celti wept with relief. The Deathworlders had shown their fury. Now they would show something far more dangerous. Their mercy. The blue marble filled the viewport, and Admiral Gree felt his scales shift to the pale yellow of unease. He had commanded fleets against pirate armadas. He had burned rebel colonies to ash. He had never felt afraid. Until now. Report. He ordered, his voice steady despite his fear. Science Officer Milra checked her instruments. The third planet matches all previous data, Admiral. Nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere. Liquid water oceans covering 70% of the surface. Gravity approximately 1.2 times hegemony standard. And the natives? Electromagnetic signals confirm technological civilization. We are detecting thousands of orbital objects, satellites, debris, and what appear to be primitive space stations. Milra paused. Admiral, they have achieved space flight. Gree had expected this. He had dreaded it. Deathworlders with technology were the nightmare that kept the Conclave awake at night. Deploy reconnaissance drones. I want detailed scans of their population centers, their military capabilities, and their nuclear arsenals. 20 small drones launched from the fleet, racing toward Earth at speeds no human craft could match. Gree watched them go and tried to remember his orders. Observe, assess, implement Protocol Omega if necessary. He was beginning to think it would be necessary. 3 drones were destroyed within minutes of entering Earth's atmosphere. Gree watched the footage in disbelief as primitive missiles rose from the surface and tracked his advanced reconnaissance units with impossible accuracy. They detected us, Milra said quietly. They built weapons specifically to shoot down orbital targets. Before they even knew we existed, they built them to shoot down each other. Admiral, they have been preparing for war their entire existence. The 4th drone survived longer. It transmitted detailed footage of human cities, human vehicles, human weapons. Gree watched humans walk through crowded streets, oblivious to the death hanging above them. He watched human soldiers train with weapons designed to kill each other. He watched human scientists build machines that could split atoms. And then he saw something that confused him. A building burned in one of the human cities. Fire consumed it, smoke pouring into the sky. And humans ran toward the flames. Not away. Toward. What are they doing? Gree asked. Milra enlarged the image. Humans in protective gear entered the burning structure. Moments later, they emerged carrying other humans. Children, elderly, strangers. They are rescuing each other, Milra said, at risk to their own lives. That is inefficient. The strong should preserve themselves. Perhaps, but they do not seem to believe that. The drone continued transmitting. Gree saw humans feeding the hungry, humans treating the sick, humans building homes for those who had none. He saw violence and cruelty, yes, but he also saw something else. something that made his scales shift to the deep purple of confusion. They care for each other, Milris said softly. Even the weak, even the sick, even strangers. Second in command, Veth, snorted from his position near the weapons console. Do not be fooled. They are Deathworlders. Their kindness is a mask for their savagery. Then why rescue strangers from fires? Why feed the hungry? Why? Enough, Gree interrupted. We are here to assess the threat, not debate their philosophy. Prepare a communication. We will offer them one chance to submit peacefully. The message was simple, broadcast on every frequency the humans might detect. Inhabitants of the third planet. This is Admiral Gree of the Hegemony Fleet. State your intentions or face consequences. Hours passed. Gree waited, expecting silence, expecting fear, expecting surrender. Instead, a response came. In the Hegemony's own language. In English. In a dozen other human languages. We are humanity. We do not seek war. We do not fear it either. State your intentions. Veth's scales turned the dark red of rage. They dare to threaten us? They should be begging for mercy. But Gree was not angry. He was impressed and terrified. These beings had no fleet, no advanced weapons, no experience with galactic warfare, and yet they responded to a superior force with defiance. With pride. Admiral, Milris said quietly, I do not think they will submit. No, I do not think they will. Gree retired to his quarters that night, his mind churning with impossible thoughts. Protocol Omega was designed for mindless beasts, for savage monsters, for threats that could not be reasoned with. But these humans were not mindless. They were not monsters. They were simply unwilling to be afraid. He fell asleep wondering if there was another way. And while he slept, Veth made his decision. The humans would not submit. The humans could not be allowed to survive. The Conclave's fears must be addressed, and if Gree lacked the courage to act, Veth would act for him. 16 Protocol Omega missiles launched from the fleet, streaking toward Earth at speeds no human defense could match. In her room beneath the Nevada desert, Celti bolted upright as her neural implant screamed with intercepted communications. Cleansing initiated. The humans had 4 hours to live. Celti had counted 17 sunrises through the small window of her room. 17 days since the crash. 17 days since she expected to die. She was still alive. More than alive. She was learning. Dr. Nathaniel Webb sat across from her, his gray hair and tired eyes making him look older than most humans she had observed. He led something called the First Contact Division, a secret group that had apparently been waiting for this moment for decades. 3 ships crashed, Nathaniel explained slowly, using the mathematical language framework they had developed together. 2 were empty. Yours was the only one with survivors. Celti's 4 arms wrapped around herself. My crew, 2 did not survive the impact. 3 others are recovering in our medical facility. You were the least injured. She should have been dead. All of them should have been dead. Instead, the humans had pulled them from burning wreckage and carried them to safety. Why, she asked. The question had haunted her for 17 days. Why help us? Nathaniel considered the question carefully. Because you were hurt. Because you needed help. That is what we do. Celti did not understand. Her species helped their own, of course. Some species in the Conclave helped their allies. But helping strangers? Helping potential enemies? It made no sense. A fleet is coming, she said finally. 50 warships. They will observe your world. And if they decide you are a threat, they will burn your planet to glass. Nathaniel's expression did not change. We suspected as much. Can you tell us more? Over the following days, Celti told them everything. The Conclave, the quarantine, Protocol Omega. She expected them to panic, to weep, to surrender. Instead, they listened carefully and asked intelligent questions. The human governments were informed through something called the Sigma Protocol. Celti learned that humanity had been preparing for this possibility since they first looked up at the stars and wondered if they were alone. They were not alone, and now they knew that the galaxy feared them. Some of our leaders want to hand you over, Nathaniel admitted during one conversation. As a peace offering, Celti's hearts raced, and others, Others want to use you as a hostage. But our global council voted. We will not negotiate from fear. We will not sacrifice an innocent person to buy safety. I am not innocent. My people's ships violated your space. Your people came in peace. You crashed by accident. That does not make you guilty of anything. Celti watched the humans more closely after that. She observed them through the window and on the screens they allowed her to access. She saw them argue with each other, sometimes violently. She saw them cry over small things and laugh over smaller things. She saw soldiers who could have crushed her with one hand bring her meals and try to learn her language. One night, a storm rolled over the desert. Thunder shook the underground facility, and lightning turned the sky white. Celti screamed and hid under her bed, certain that the world was ending. Lena found her there. The young woman crawled under the bed and sat beside her, saying nothing, just being present. "How do you survive this?" Celti whispered when the thunder finally faded. "Survive what?" "The storm." Lena shrugged. "We have had storms since the beginning. Hurricanes, tornadoes. We build shelters and wait them out. Your world is trying to kill you. Our world is just our world. We adapted. We got stronger." Lena paused. "Is it true that your planet has no storms? No earthquakes? No predators? Our world is peaceful, gentle, safe." Lena nodded slowly. "Then I understand why you fear us. You evolved in a garden. We evolved in a war." Celti thought about that for a long time after Lena left. The humans were not monsters. They were survivors. Every generation of humanity had faced extinction and refused to die. Every human alive was descended from those who had fought and won against a world that wanted them dead. No wonder the galaxy feared them. No wonder the precursors had quarantined their world. But Celti had seen something else in her 17 days among the Deathworlders. She had seen a soldier give his lunch to a hungry coworker. She had seen scientists stay up all night to make sure her injured crewmate survived. She had seen humans risk their lives to save strangers from a flood on something called the news. The Deathworlders were dangerous, yes, but they were dangerous the way a mother protecting her children was dangerous. The way a friend defending a friend was dangerous. They were dangerous because they cared. Far above the Earth, hidden behind the fourth planet's largest moon, Admiral Gree's fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 50 warships, enough firepower to sterilize the entire system. And on the blue marble below, humanity looked up at the stars and prepared to meet their fate. Whatever that fate might be, they would face it together. Lena had not slept in 3 days. Around her, the Nevada facility buzzed with activity as diplomats, scientists, and military officers worked to prevent the extinction of humanity. "The conclave is debating," Celti reported, her 4 arms working multiple communication devices simultaneously. "Some species want to continue the attack. Others are horrified by what happened. And Admiral Gree, he has refused to fire another shot. His fleet is holding position. He says he wants to understand." Lena rubbed her exhausted eyes. 300 million dead. Entire regions of Earth turned to wasteland. And yet here they were, trying to make peace with the beings who had done it. "Do you think we're fools?" she asked Celti. "For not wanting revenge?" Celti considered the question carefully. In her weeks among humans, she had learned that they asked questions they genuinely wanted answers to. They did not ask to trap or manipulate. "I think you are terrifying," she answered honestly. Any other species would have launched every weapon at the fleet. Any other species would have burned with rage until nothing remained. You are choosing something harder than destruction. You are choosing to survive. The negotiations began 3 days later, conducted through a combination of video feeds and text messages. Admiral Gree appeared on screen, his reptilian features carefully neutral. Dr. Webb spoke for humanity, with Celti translating. "You attacked without provocation," Webb began. "Millions of our people are dead. Cities are gone. Ecosystems are destroyed. Before we discuss anything else, you will explain why." Gree did not try to justify the attack. One officer acted without authorization. He has been removed from command and will face execution under hegemony law. "But I know that does not bring back your dead." "No, it does not. I came here expecting monsters," Gree continued. The quarantine files describe Deathworlders as savage, unthinking beasts. Instead, I found a species that builds hospitals, that rescues strangers from fires, that creates art and music and stories. We are all of those things, Webb agreed. We are also capable of great violence. We have committed terrible acts against each other throughout our history. But we have also learned. We have grown. We are trying to be better. Why did your ships not ram mine? They had clear trajectories. They could have destroyed my flagship. Because killing you would not bring back our dead. Because we wanted you to know who we really are. Not monsters. Not mindless beasts. Survivors who choose how we respond to tragedy. The negotiations continued for weeks. Celti served as the primary translator, but more than that, she served as a bridge. She explained human customs to the conclave observers. She explained alien thinking to the humans. She found herself believing something she never thought possible. These two civilizations could coexist. The conclave has made a decision, she announced one morning, her voice trembling. They are offering humanity provisional membership. You would have a voice in galactic affairs, trade agreements, protection. And in return, General Martinez asked, in return, you agree not to conquer the galaxy. The humans in the room exchanged glances. Then, slowly, they began to laugh. Conquer the galaxy, Martinez said. We can barely agree on pizza toppings. We have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We are not going to suddenly unite to conquer anyone. The conclave does not understand that. They see your unity during the attack and assume it is permanent. It was not unity, Webb explained. It was survival. When we face extinction, we work together. When the threat passes, we go back to arguing about everything else. That is how we are. Messy, complicated, human. Celti transmitted this explanation to the conclave. The response took several days. They are confused, she finally reported. They cannot understand how a species can fight itself and still survive. They cannot understand how you can hate each other and still die for each other. We call it family, Lena said softly. The provisional membership was accepted. Humanity would have a voice in the conclave. They would not be sterilized. They would not be quarantined. But the decision was not unanimous. Some species still fear you, Celti warned. They will watch every move you make. They will look for proof that you are the monsters they expect. Then we will prove them wrong, Martinez said. Not with words, with actions. 1 year later, the first human diplomatic vessel launched from Earth. Its crew of 12 represented every continent, every culture, every part of humanity that had survived the attack. Leading them was Lena, the young woman who had offered a frightened alien a blanket in an underground room. Beside her walked Celti, wearing the uniform of Earth's new interstellar liaison corps. Are you ready? Lena asked as the ship prepared to enter hyperspace. Celti looked back at the blue marble growing smaller in the viewport. She had come to Earth as a scientist studying quarantine space. She was leaving as something else entirely. I am ready, she said. Let us show the galaxy what Deathworlders can do. The ship vanished into hyperspace, carrying humanity's first ambassadors toward the stars. 5 years had changed everything. Lena stood on a balcony overlooking a Quarian ocean, watching twin moons rise over purple waves. Behind her, the sounds of celebration drifted from the embassy building. Human and alien voices mixed together, laughing at jokes that required 3 translators to understand. You are thinking about Earth, Celti said, joining her at the railing. Always, but not with sadness anymore. With hope. 5 years since the attack. 5 years since humanity had chosen mercy over vengeance. And in those 5 years, the galaxy had transformed. Human doctors had developed treatments for diseases that had plagued the Savathi for centuries. Their aggressive immune systems, forged in Earth's hostile environment, produced antibodies that other species could only dream of. Medical stations staffed by human volunteers now orbited a dozen worlds. Human engineers had helped the Quarians stabilize a dying colony world. Where other species saw impossible challenges, humans saw problems to be solved. They worked in conditions that would kill any other being, breathing toxic air and enduring crushing gravity as if it were nothing. Human soldiers, the most terrifying warriors the galaxy had ever known, had become the most requested rescue teams in known space. When a mining colony collapsed on a high-gravity world, humans arrived first. When a research station lost atmosphere on a frozen moon, humans walked through the vacuum to save the survivors. When anyone, anywhere, needed help in a hostile environment, they called the Deathworlders. They do not call us that anymore, Celti noted. Deathworlders. What do they call us now? The helpers. The rescuers. The stubborn ones who will not give up. Celti's translator struggled with the next word. There's a new term spreading through the conclave. It translates roughly to the species that refuses to let anyone die alone. Lena smiled. I like that one. The celebration inside grew louder. Today marked the official dissolution of Earth's quarantine. No longer a warning, no longer a threat. Earth was now a destination. Tourists from across the galaxy were already booking trips to see the legendary Death World for themselves. They will be disappointed, Lena said. Earth is not so frightening once you understand it. It is terrifying, Celti corrected. I have lived among humans for 5 years, and I still cannot believe your species survived. Your storms, your predators, your diseases, your own violent history. Any one of those things would have destroyed a gentler species. But we are not gentle. No, you are strong. Not because you conquered your world, but because you learned to live with it. You adapted. You grew. You helped each other. Inside the embassy, High Counselor Mira was giving a speech. Her ancient voice carried through the open doors, translated into 100 languages. We feared what Earth might produce, she said. For 2 million years, we kept them quarantined. We told ourselves it was for the good of the galaxy. We told ourselves they were too dangerous to be allowed among the stars. She paused, and when she continued, her voice held something that sounded like regret. We were right to be afraid, but we were afraid of the wrong thing. We feared their strength. We should have respected their hearts. The crowd applauded. Human and alien delegates stood side by side, species that had never trusted each other now united by the example humanity had set. It is not perfect, Celti admitted. Some species still hate you. Some still plot against you. Some will never accept that Deathworlders can be peaceful. We know. We are prepared. Lena turned to face her friend. But we're not going to become what they fear just because they fear us. We spent too long fighting each other. We are not going to start fighting the galaxy. What will you do instead? What we have always done. Survive. Adapt. Help anyone who needs helping. And maybe, slowly, show the galaxy that there is another way. A child's laughter interrupted them. A young Quarian ran onto the balcony, chased by a human girl no more than 7 years old. The two children tumbled together, giggling, completely unaware of the historical significance of their friendship. That is what we wanted, Lena said softly. Not conquest, not revenge, just that. Children playing together, connection, understanding, a future where nobody has to be afraid. Celti watched the children play, remembering her terror in that underground room 5 years ago, remembering the blanket Lena had offered, the water, the kindness. The galaxy wanted you to stay on Earth, she said, to be afraid, to be alone. Lena smiled. And instead, you made friends. They stood together as the twin moons climbed higher, their light dancing on the purple waves. Behind them, the celebration continued. Human and alien voices blended into a single chorus of hope. Earth had been quarantined for 2 million years. The galaxy had feared what might emerge from that hostile world. They had prepared for monsters. Instead, they got neighbors, partners, friends. The Deathworlders had arrived among the stars, and they had brought something the galaxy had never expected. Compassion.